Right. Today's session is called Introduction to CDdelta. It's our session 1. So we will be having a series of sessions starting with our first session today. So please do join us in our coming sessions as well. You will learn and understand later on which sessions we will be facilitating in our upcoming sessions. Right. Welcome to our session. Thank you so much for joining in. We do appreciate. We hope you are going to have a wonderful time and a great experience, and you are going to learn a lot during our session. Right. So let's start with introductions, right? I would like you to introduce yourself in the chat box. When you introduce yourself, you can share your name, surname, your province, name of school, if you are a teacher or an organization, if you are not a teacher or you are an educator, and then share with us your favorite color. It's wonderful. Right, so what are we doing here? What is this CDdelta about? Remember, today we are doing Introduction to CDdelta. We are here to learn about CDdelta. Yes, so CDdelta stands for the Commonwealth Digital Education Leadership Training in Action. So it's CDdelta or Commonwealth is in collaboration with SchoolNet South Africa, which is a program of the Commonwealth of Learning nations, countries, which intends to promote digital education in the Commonwealth nations. Right, now CDdelta it's not only about promoting digital education. However, it is about building capacity. It is about capacitating educators in becoming digital education leaders. Right. Right. So as I've said, it's about producing leaders, the digital education leaders in the field of digital education. Now, one would want to understand, okay, why CDdelta? CDdelta, it is a course on its own. Now, one would ask, why should I participate in a CDdelta program? Now, I would mention a few. When participating in the CDdelta program, you will gain understanding as well as the potential and need for being digitally literate. It will open your eyes, for a need for each one of us to be digital literate, but not only to be digital literate, but also being digital education leaders. Perhaps let me say being digital education leaders. Yes, right. In this program, when you participate, you would be introduced to a set of tools that you could use in your organization, at your school, in your teaching, as well as knowledge about digital citizenship. What is great about the CDdelta program is that the focus is not only on educators, but it's focusing both on educators and students. Now, the mandate for the CDdelta is about creating lifelong learners, of which we all want to be lifelong learners, right? So those are the key benefits of taking part in the CDdelta program. However, I will be sharing more benefits at a later stage. So stay with us as we share about this amazing program. Now, so we are talking about producing leaders in digital education. So how do we actually produce these leaders in digital education? Now, let's look at the program itself. Then you would understand how then do we produce leaders. Let's first look at the curriculum for digital education leadership, which has two components. One component is that of digital education, as well as the one for leadership in digital education, with digital literacy as the base for both, as you can see from my diagram on the right hand side. Digital literacies. Now, when we speak about digital literacies, we are not referring to digital literacy in terms of digital ICT skills. Understand, it's broader than ICT skills. That is why it is referred to digital literacies. Now, digital literacies, we're looking at digital education as well as leadership in digital education. Now, these two components of the CDdelta curriculum, they've been developed on the assumption that before an individual become an a digital education leader, that individual should first demonstrate the capability in the practices identified with digital education. So in other words, you should walk the talk, and you lead on the stuff that needs to be on the stuff to be led. Now, it means you should first be a model, or you should model what is expected, so that you as well become a digital education leader. Right. Now, let's look at the role of a digital leader. Now, for you to be a digital leader, you should demonstrate an effective use of ICT. When we say you demonstrate an effective use of ICT, we not necessarily mean you are an expert on everything. Remember, we're creating lifelong learners. So on day-to-day basis, we learn something new. However, you should, as a digital leader, you should also be effectively using digital literacy in your field of work. As educators, we're referring to the classroom. Now, as you demonstrate the effective use of ICT, obviously, you would have a greater influence to colleagues around you. Not only an influence, but verbally influencing your colleagues, in becoming digital leaders themselves. You should be an advocate for digital literacy. You should be an advocate for digital literacy integration in the classroom. You should be an advocate for digital literacy sustainability. You should be in overall a role model, or you should model all of these elements: effective use of ICT, being an influence, as well as an advocate. That is a digital leader we are talking about. I'm sure we all would love to be digital leaders. It's really amazing. Being a digital leader is you are a change agent in your workplace. Who wouldn't want to be a change agent? Remember, we are talking about the SDG goals. We're looking at SDG number 4, where we are talking about where we're talking about education. And we know that we should all take part, we should all take part in transforming education. We should all take part in ensuring that there is equal access in education. So as a digital leader, you also contribute in that. Who wouldn't want to? Right. Now, while talking about the digital education leader, let's now look at the CDelta modules. Remember, CDelta is a course, and this course has 7 modules, as you can see on the right-hand side. Now, these 7 modules have two categories. The first category is that of the digital education, and then the second category is that of digital education leadership. Now, when we look at the digital education, we're looking at developing digital identities, we're looking at mobilizing resources, engaging with networks. And these 3 modules, they target both students as well as educators. But for students, they only do the first 3 modules. Then for us as educators, we continue to study module 4 to module 7, which is then focusing on leadership. And we're looking at enhancing access, developing capacity, where you make informed decision, cultivating innovation. Those are the roles of a digital leader. Right. Now, I'd like to give you a sneak peek of, how the modules looks like. The first thing that you need to do is to you need to sign up or register on the CDelta platform. So once you have successfully registered on the CDelta platform, you would get to the dashboard, your own dashboard, where you take on the 7 modules. Now, I would quickly share with you how it looks like, just a quick overview of how the module content is structured. So there is like introduction to the unit content. So each module has unit content as well as unit outcomes. You are introduced to new terminology. Remember, I mentioned that you learn knowledge. There are also core content of that particular unit. And then there are learning activities that you take part on. And from those learning activities, you accumulate badges. Then at the end, you find that there is a unit summary for everything that you have completed in that particular unit. Then at the end, there is an assessment quiz. The assessment quiz, it's just a short, quick, easy quiz that you take on to move on to the next unit until you complete the module. Right. And also there are resources. Now, for each module, you would be provided with like tons of resources. However, there are list of additional resources for additional reading, to enhance your knowledge or to empower yourself, for those people who would like to who are doing a research, or who would like to get more information about that particular topic, or if the topic is of interest to you, would like to learn more. So there are additional resources. Right. In terms of the study skills that you would require, what is lovely here with this program is that you choose what you want to study. When you sign up, you are required to complete a pre-test. Now, when you complete a pre-test actually is like a self-assessment, which it's like a self-assessment which it measures how much you know, and where are the gaps, what are the weaknesses, what are your strengths. Now, based on that feedback, you are able to identify areas where you need to focus on. For example, we understand that some of us, they are already advanced in certain aspects. So you don't necessarily need to study something that you already know. So your focus will be on something new to you. Therefore, you are free to study what you want to study. What is also important here is that you set yourself goals. You set yourself milestones. Like today you attended the session which introduces you to this amazing course, and then you say, right, if there are 7 modules, I want to complete these 7 modules within a week, or I want to complete these 7 modules in 2 weeks' time. However, we do advise that you don't prolong or you don't try to extend the time, like you giving yourself a month, 2 months. That's way too long, and you find that you become demotivated, or you lose interest in completing. Rather, complete as soon as you can. Right. In terms of time management, it's very important to manage your time wisely when you're taking on the course. For example, in a week, you say, all right, I need to set aside so many hours for me to reach my milestone, or for me to complete at my targeted time. Right. So just to give you an indication how it can work out for you, there are about 3 to 6 activities per unit, and you find that there are 30 to 70 pages with that refers to offline modules. That is good news with this course, because if you don't have connectivity, or you're struggling with connectivity, not only connectivity, data is expensive. We do have offline modules that you can study, and once you complete a unit, or once you complete a module, then you plug in online for you to complete the assessment, and then you move on to the other modules. What is also lovely about this program is that remember we mentioned that you study what you want to study. At any given moment, you are able to complete the post-test, because once you complete studying the content, you need to do your post-test. Your post-test is now a comparison of, before I started the course, this is where I was, and then after I have completed the course, this is where I am. And you're also able to determine your next steps depending on what you have scored in your post-test. Right. And then we're looking at about 16 to 20 hours to complete the entire course. If you're really ambitious, we've had people who complete the course within 3 days. So that is also possible. Right. And for the purpose of this program, we will be running the program for the month of June. So we will be busy mobilizing the program for the month of June. So we would really love you to complete the modules as soon as you can, or before the end of the project timeline, which is the first 3 weeks. Right. I've also have great news that we'll be sharing with you, especially you as our first group in this session. Right. Again, I'm going to give you a sneak peek for different modules, what to expect. But before I do that, let me pause and check if there are questions from what I have shared so far. There. Any questions?
No questions. No questions so far.
No questions. All right, wonderful. Right. So let's look at these modules. We won't be able to cover all of them. We'll look at the first 3 to 4 modules. what is there. Remember, there are different units. It's not everything you see. As you can see, this is one unit that I'm sharing with you under module 1, which is developing digital identities. You are introduced to a range of IC tools and services, affordances of ICT. We promoting that you become you become a producer of information, not only a consumer. You will look at techniques of finding new technologies, and we also look at online safety, behaving well and legally online. Those are the nitty-gritty. Yeah, and then that's unit summary. So this is just one unit under developing digital identities. As you can see, these are topical topics and quite interesting topics, which are really amazing, and they are essential for someone who is who is hoping to be a digital leader. Right, and then we look at module 2, which is mobilizing resources. In mobilizing resources, we look at digital resources. We look at different content for different audiences. We look at in information literacy, sources of digital information and media, techniques on searching for information and resources, tips and tricks when you're typing in your search terms, or when you're browsing internet, so that you can save yourself time. We look at managing web links, that is using bookmarks. We're looking at managing downloaded resources. Again, we're looking at sharing different content curation tools that you can use. You learn how to be critical. There's quite a lot of very interesting topics, as well as skills that you learn as you study these modules. And then module 3, engaging with networks. Now, engaging with networks, we're looking at challenges around ownership of content and privacy, different kinds of networks, online networks for collaboration, where you consciously connect yourself and connecting with peers of the same interest. We're talking about PLCs. We're talking about which are specialized online networks. We look at open networks and more. Remember, this is just one unit of engaging with networks. And lastly, enhancing access. Remember, this one now is for educators. The first 3, that was for educators and students. Now we're looking at leadership ones, which is enhancing access. In terms of enhancing access, we look at teaching and learning resources, how to access online resources. Now, when you look at this, you look at it with an eye of a leader, not only for personal consumption. Right, finding educational resources that you are able to share with your colleagues. But it's not only about finding educational resources, it's also about evaluating those educational resources, because internet is for public. Anyone can upload anything, so it's important to critically evaluate resources that are out there. Right, as you can see, there's quite a lot here in enhancing access. And again, this is just one unit of this module. Right, I'm sure you are hooked up and you say, Hlengi, really, I want to, this is really interesting. I want to study the course. I want to be part of this. Now, when you take part, there is certification that's we add to our benefits. When you complete the course, that is, you write the pre-test, you study the course, you complete your post-test, then you receive the CDelta International Recognized Certificate, that one certificate, and then you also receive or obtain a SACE endorsed certificate with a whopping 35 CPTD points. So this is a double barrel. It's a SACE endorsed certificate and a CDelta International Recognized Certificate. Isn't it amazing? It is amazing. Now, I'm sure one is okay, Hlengi. I'm in. I'm in. How do I take part? Now, for you to take part, you would need to register on the CDelta platform, right? That is your first step. Then your next step is to write a pre-test. The registration, once you've successfully registered, you then write a pre-test. That is compulsory. After you've written your pre-test, you study the course, you write a post-test. Remember, I mentioned that you can write a post-test at any stage, right? So once you've completed your post-test, with the post-test, you need to obtain at least 50%, right? And then there is an opportunity. This is the opportunity I was talking about. There is an opportunity for those who have written their post-test to be invited to attend a master training. And I have good news for you who are attending today, that we will be running a master training for those who would complete a post-test in the couple of weeks. So in the next week or so, we would share with you a poster about the master training. However, you need to communicate with us how you are progressing with this process. For example, once you have registered and you have written your pre-test, please share with us. You take a screenshot of your pre-test, share it with us. Don't wait until you complete the course before you share the pre-test. Share with us every milestone. You share the pre-test screenshot. Once you complete the post-test again, you share the screenshot for your post-test so that in our data, in our database, we know that you have completed the post-test, so you are eligible to be invited to attend the master training. We don't normally have master trainings. It's once in a while, so it's a great opportunity for you to be invited in this. Now, once you are invited in this master training, we allow you to implement by training at least 20 teachers and 20 students. We talk more about this during the master training, but I tell you, that is when you are in your journey of becoming SchoolNet facilitator. Right, and then at the end, you are crowned as a CDelta official master trainer once you've gone through all these steps. Right, I want to pause again and see if there are any questions from what I've just shared. Right, so how do I register on the platform? To register on the CDelta platform, that is the URL Zotomo is going to share with you as well in the platform or in our chat, so that it will take you there. Right. This is the URL. Now, when you are there, this is the screen you would see. You would need to complete that registration form. There are a few important things that I'd like to highlight when you are completing the form, which is very important. Right, it's your first name, it's your email. please ensure that when you type your email, you type it exactly how it is like. Where there is a capital letter, you type in a capital letter. So all in all, this platform is case sensitive. So if you leave a space, it will actually capture that. Where there is a small letter, it will capture that. So once you have registered and you try to sign in, you'll find that you are unable to sign in if you don't type your email exactly how you have typed in when you register. Right. And then the password. When it comes to a password, it's not asking for your email password. That is number one. Number two, it requires you to generate your password, which you would remember. Also, when you generate your password, it should follow this. Rule. There should be a capital letter. There should be small letters. There should be a number. There should be a symbol. These four. A capital letter, small letters or lowercase, numbers, and symbol. For example, if I am to use my name, I would use H as a capital letter for Hlengiwe, then the rest will be Hlengiwe. Then for a symbol, I would use at Hlengiwe at, then I use a number Hlengiwe at 7, Hlengiwe at 20, Hlengiwe, the number that has some kind of significance, the number that I would remember. Right, that is your password. Right, please write it down somewhere so that you don't forget your password. Because once you have clicked the register button, you would receive an email, which is an activation email. You need to go to your email inbox to click on the link to activate your registration. Once you have activated your registration, you will then need to sign in. Now, when you sign in, correct email address, correct password. Right, and then the most important one again, the country, obviously, it's South Africa. And then in terms of the user type, you would go for that of an educator or a teacher or a practitioner if you are a practitioner. Then joining the course, please, please, please join the course as part of the project group, not as an individual. That is very important, because if you join as an individual, we are unable to support you. We are unable to, you are not registered under SchoolNet, therefore we don't have your data. And unfortunately, it's an error that we cannot rectify. So please take note of this. Register as part of the project group. Once you register as part of the project or as part of the organization, then you would select SchoolNet as the organization. Don't look for your school, look for SchoolNet. Once you have registered, at a later stage, your school will then be registered in the database. Right, and then you click on register. Right, this is a link to a video registration guide. So we do have a video that takes you through the process on how to register. So this is the link. You can take a screenshot of this slide, or alternatively, Zotomo is going to paste this link in our chat box as well, video registration guide link, so that after the session, you are able to watch the video and follow the video. Right, other people, they are visuals. It's better for them if they see, they see something. All right. Right, so once you have registered, this is your dashboard. It will look like that. And in your dashboard, you will see that there is a pre-test then the modules, as well as the post-test. Now, the very first step that you need to take is to click on the pre-test, right? Pre-test, and you have an hour to complete 60 questions. So it means you only have a minute for each question. Once your 60 minutes has elapsed, you won't be able to, there's no extra time. So it's important to time yourself. Don't spend more than 1 minute in a question. In fact, if you find the question difficult, it's a multiple choice. If you find the question too difficult for you, just guess and move on to the next question, right? So move on to the next question that perhaps you know the answer of. Right, once you've completed your pretest, you will see that your score will be displayed in your dashboard, and it will show you your score. What is also lovely here is that you can retake a pretest as many times as you need to. Like if you didn't pass it, so you can retake and take another quiz, but it won't be the same set of questions, of course. Right. So for example, if you complete the pretest and you are unable to retrieve your pretest certificate, rather take a screenshot of your dashboard which shows us, the score of your pretest. Then we have evidence that yes, you have completed a pretest, right? Same goes with the post-test, but for the post-test, we really want you to share your certificate with us in a form of, it can be a pretest or you can share the PDF post-test certificate, right? Now, so with all this information, the question is where to from here? Now I have attended this session. I understand what CDdelta is all about. I understand that there are modules that I need to study, and I understand the process on how that I need to follow. So where to from here? So let's do a summary of everything. First step is to register, complete pretest, study the modules, complete your post-test, then share your post-test with us, then wait for an invitation to a master training. Now, this is important. When you've completed your pre-test, it doesn't mean that you will automatically be invited to a master training session. It's only these ones that there is a scheduled master training session which will be taking, which will be happening in the next week or so. So I would say you have a great opportunity. Aim for this master training session because it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen most often. So it's your opportunity for you to become a CDdelta master trainer. Right. Yeah, so that's the end of our introduction. You would note that we have indicated that the session is 1.5 hours, but this is our introduction. So there are no activities like where we have a hands-on activity or we have a discussion activity. Now, in our upcoming sessions, we will be modeling to you, some of the tasks which are available in the course, or we will be modeling to you some of the tasks that we facilitate when we have our face-to-face sessions. Also, it will assist you, as you study the modules, perhaps there is something that wasn't clear to you that you did not understand. So when we do that topic, Now, when we market or when we advertise our upcoming sessions, we will be marketing them with a reference to the topic or that particular module we are targeting. So yes, do join us in our upcoming sessions where we will be delving to specific topics or specific specific topics within the modules. Right. We have these are virtual ones. It's a self-study course, remember. So at your own pace, you study the course online. Remember, I mentioned that we do have offline modules. This is the link to our offline modules, and these are in PDF. So for module 1, there is a PDF for all module 1 topics, module 2 topics. So you are able to read from the PDF, and you plug in online to complete the assessment activities. Remember, you choose what you want to study. If you see that the module is something that you already familiar with, you can skip that and move on to the unknown until you complete all the modules, or until you complete all the modules that are relevant to you. Thereafter, you complete the post-test. However, we do have sessions which are face-to-face, but those sessions are organized for specific groups. Like in different provinces, there are face-to-face sessions for specific groups. So for this one, it's purely online. I hope I've answered your session. What is also great is that when you complete your post-test and you are invited to a master training session and you are certified as a master trainer, your sessions do take a form of face-to-face. For example, you would want to begin with your teachers at your school, or you want to start with your students at your school. Then those are face-to-face sessions which are facilitated by yourselves. But if, for example, you have a group of teachers from your school who are interested in taking part, you can communicate with us and see where they are. Then we can organize a session for those teachers if there is a facilitator nearby. I hope I have answered the question.
The next one. Is it possible to organize a group of school principals and teachers to enroll for this course?
By all means, yes. You are here, you attended this session, now you understand the journey. Yes, you can invite a group of principals, a group of SMT members. You can organize a cluster of teachers. Then we, as I have mentioned, you communicated with us. If there is a nearby facilitator, by all means, we send the facilitator to that group. Obviously, they should be in a venue where there are computers, or they bring their computers. But we discuss all the logistics in person with the person who is organizing that. Alternatively, we can organize a virtual session for that particular group as well.
Is this course free? How long do we have to complete?
Right. Yes. Yes and no. The course is not free, but it is fully paid for you. It's funded by Commonwealth of Learning. So you as a participant, you don't pay a cent. It's self-paced. We're looking at about 16 to 20 hours to complete a course. If it's self-paced, depending on how much time do you set aside to study the course. So you can complete in 3 days, you can complete in a week. We would like to encourage you to complete it within a week. That will be great. So today is Monday. So say by the end of the week, you share your progress with us. Yeah. And perhaps including a weekend, maybe next Monday, you share how far you've gone. But as soon as you complete a pre-test, as soon as you receive your pre-test certificate, share it with us. We are going to leave um, our email address where you can communicate with us, as well as a WhatsApp group. We will create WhatsApp group for these virtual sessions. If you leave your contact details, we will include you in the WhatsApp group. Alternatively, we will share a link which invite you to a WhatsApp group so that you add yourself voluntarily.